Hello and welcome to another episode of SHEnanigans, where we talk to women doing amazing things in the community and impacting our community in different ways. And today my guest is Redhi Patel, who is the founder of the Alina app. And I'm so glad you came to join us today. Thank you for being here with me today. I've been wanting to talk to you about this for the longest time because we've had, we met over a different scenario in your life. You had just become a mother and you were starting an interior design business. Yes. And now you're doing this amazing thing with the Alina app. So tell me a little bit about the journey to this, what prompted it, and what it actually does.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure connecting with you in this platform, this manner. So yes, we had a great time working on a different project together. You did amazing job with my interior design website copywriting, and it brought me a lot of business. Mm-hmm. But that was, I became a mother during 2020, and motherhood,
COVID,
in isolation, and COVID was really a learning experience for me. And I was coming out of that, and it had decided to take a sabbatical from my corporate career of almost 20 years. And I was on my way home from returning my equipments to work on my last day, and I got a call from a friend to help her design her restaurant. Which really launched my interior design business. And as I enjoyed that whole project, and then we worked together to really formalize my website and all. As I started with interior design projects and worked with a variety of clients on residential projects and other hospitality projects, I saw this pattern in how couples and families made decisions or lack thereof it, right? Like how they navigated certain decision makings, how they saw how they live in their intimate spaces and different point of views. And around the same time, also with a young child, I'm building my own community of mothers, and I'm hearing a lot of stories of motherhood struggles from friends, acquaintances, play dates, all of that. And I saw a pattern of young parents with intense phase of parenting young kids and challenges of lack of visibility of who is doing what, when, and where, and not having centralized systems, which was creating a lot of conflict between families and partners. And that prompted me to think there must be a better way of managing day-to-day household logistics, because oftentimes, when you become a new mother, a lot of that primary caregiving responsibilities default on mothers.
Yeah.
And they're default assumed. And in that phase of postpartum, intensity
There's
of
a lot
sleep
going
deprivation
on. Yeah.
and all of that, not necessarily mothers have right vocabulary to articulate what are they experiencing? What is this mental invisible load? How do you really navigate that phase and help, ask for help, or make it visible so your partner can step in and support?
Or explain what it is you're doing. Like that. We don't have an SOP that we can just hand off. Yeah.
Correct. And you as a new mother, you're also you are learning that yourself. You are developing that SOP as you're going, right? So how do you bring your partner along on that journey? Anyways, all that self-discovery, reflection, speaking to my community of mothers and all, kind of made me realize that, on enterprise level, when I worked in IT and project management, we have this advanced project management tools that you use to manage project and project health and risk register to make sure your project is not going in red. But for the most important project of your life, which is your family, you don't have any centralized visibility on what goes into running a household, keeping a young child alive, or helping them thrive with sports and schools and everything that it takes to run your family life. And that's where Alina was born out of. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
So you're really looking at the family and the home as a business, and marrying that project-based environment from the corporate and IT world into.
So yeah, I'm definitely bringing a lot of my experience of project management from my corporate role, but I'm seeing that as, okay, where is the gap in family life where the friction most happens, right? And oftentimes is lack of alignment, lack of alignment
Hence
on
the name.
priorities,
Yeah.
right? Partners on a given point of day or time, do you know, are you aligned on what does it take to run our household today? What are our priorities as a family? What are we making for dinner? Who is buying groceries? Who is cleaning? Who is cooking? Everything that goes into running a household, right? Not having clear visibility into it creates conflicts. The lack of context also doesn't help either, right? So I see this as relational project management tool that helps improve harmony in the household.
So this is very different than from, there's thousands of productivity apps and scheduling apps out there.
Yeah.
This sounds incredibly different from that.
Absolutely.
So many more layers.
Absolutely.
So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, my goal is with Alina is to meet families where they are, right? So right now, typically the productivity apps or scheduling apps or to-do apps requires one partner to have to enter information in the app, which is fundamentally a flawed system, right? Because now by default you made that partner a project manager of that app or that tool. So a lot of that invisible load continues from manual analog system of whiteboards and sticky notes. Somebody has to manage all that. Now you're digitizing that in an app form. And what Alina does is it reduces that layer, that burden of having to enter all the information in the app. So we meet families where they are in terms of integrating with their calendars and their email communications, and automatically extract and parse information from it, create tasks and events automatically in your calendar. But you as a human in the family infrastructure, you have complete agency and empowerment to either accept that event or reject it. So for example, I recently at the launch demo event, I showed this email example, year end. My daughter, year end is chaotic for parents, as you know, if you
School
have
year
various
end,
kids, yes.
yeah.
You get so many emails from kids at school. Then you have an app that school requires you to monitor. Then teacher may be making updates to you through email. Then district is sending you an email from school, right? So much information comes to you, and it's so hard to stay on top of it.
Yes, as somebody who has like 20,000 emails in her inbox.
Yeah,
yes.
that you have not cleared yet? Yes, my God. So when an email comes in from school, you may think it's one email, but it may have 8 different invisible actions that you may have to take as a primary caregiver, right?
Yes.
So your partner may not have that visibility on what does it take to stay on top of your email box in terms of school activity management. Alina would extract all those 8 invisible tasks and automatically create almost like a decision tree in the app that you and your partner both would have a visibility to see and accept which task who can do based on their availability and preference. But to layer that, Alina would also make a recommendation based on your availability and your partner's availability and preference, who would be the best fit to execute that task. So one of the other friction that we have noticed, and a lot of our survey participants provided us a feedback on, is, well, I remember things, therefore I communicate things, therefore I remind my partner to support me on XYZ, and then it becomes this nagging, paradox. Now I'm reminding you, you asked me to remind you, and now I'm nagging you. So my vision with this is that nobody enjoys being a nag.
Yes.
I don't like to nag you, and I'm sure you don't like being nagged.
Nope.
So how about we create a system where there is a complete visibility, where you both have the single source of truth of what we need to do today for our kids, for our home, for our life, for our self-care, and we have complete agency to step up and claim activities and support our partner where support is necessary, right? So that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal.
That's phenomenal. So it connects with whatever systems you're already using, like your email, your Gmail. What else does it connect with?
So
Is it primarily email?
yeah, typically productivity apps only allow you to integrate with one email or one calendar. In ours, our system allows you to integrate up to 4 calendars and 4 emails, which is another common feedback we received from our survey participants is, hey, I have my business calendar, I have my personal calendar, I have kids' sports activity calendars. Can I bring more than one calendar so I can see complete picture as a single source of truth, right? So that's one of the way we are trying to scale so we can meet families where they are. Bring everything under one platform, organize your life there. The other thing is our AI intelligence will be your personal agent, personal assistant that will help you throughout the day, either with reminders, either with, you have like data dump that you want to do. It will capture all the information, organize it for you, and then report back to you in a form of summary when you're ready to review it, right? So, yeah.
How does it, you mentioned that it will also make the recommendations on which of the partners is more, or is recommended to do which thing. How does it calculate that? How does it understand who might be a better fit to do what task?
Absolutely. So when the user onboards, we ask a few questions to understand your preferences, what drains your energy, what fills your cup. If you had a choice to outsource, what kind of task would you like to outsource? So one, we gauge your preferences through that, but also in the app, we have list of chores that typical family does on a weekly, daily, monthly, annual basis. And the goal here is, again, many families, when you fall in love, when you form a new family, you assume roles and responsibilities based on what you have seen in your parents'
Your environmental
environment, yes, exactly, your culture, your environmental conditioning. You assume those roles, you never question them, and then that carries on to your parenting journey, right? So when we design this template where both partners can have a holistic view of, these are the 90 chores that it takes for us to run our household on an annual loop. Which one of these are a best fit for me? Which one of them are best fit for you? And which one neither one of us like doing, so we can rotate, right? But this gives outsource, right? If your resource is possible, yeah. So based on that, it gives you empowerment to negotiate what a different alternate possibility could be for your family on how you manage family workload. And from there, we receive information in terms of what are your preferences. Also based on, the AI agent would learn the patterns over the period of time as you manage your calendars and your activities of what are your preferred chores and what are not.
I love this, and it's actually really aligned with something I read this week, which is a study on Norway where it was all around paternity leave, and they went to 6 months of paternity leave. So, and the men or the fathers were astounded by how much load the moms took on and what it took to run a household. And at the end of this trial period, according to this article, I didn't dig down really deep, but it was talking about what you were saying about the relationships. Divorce rates plummeted. People were more aligned at home, and the relationships were stronger, and more stuff got done without resentment and fighting and nagging and all of these things. So you're really onto something here.
Yeah. Statistics shows that 1 in 4 marriage results into a divorce for a named reason of imbalanced household responsibility, right? And there is truth to that, right? There is a lot of resentment that builds over the period of time when you have young kids, and you default assume a lot of those responsibilities. Also, the lack of systems that we have or infrastructure we have for young mothers, young parents, right? Where you can, the sense of village is disappearing.
Yes.
And in that lack of sense of village, not our political infrastructure or policies, anything has changed there to support young families where dual income is necessary nowadays.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Cost of living is very expensive. So how do we really in this environment that we are in, how do we really help families manage all this, but also manage it in a way where relationships are intact, and there is lesser resentment and more harmony and more connection.
Yeah, especially since one of the things that I noticed when I moved to this country was the difference or the lack of extended family, right? Like so. I can imagine that this could also help bring grandparents into the mix. So
Yes.
the parents and grandparents, is that something that you've played with as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the app has 6 different family structures that it will allow or support. So dual income families, single parents, dual parents, single income, also multi-generational households, romantic partners without kids, and housemates.
Oh, so it's not a one size fits all. Oh,
so I say this, that if you're somebody who is responsible for keeping a pet, a plant, a person alive, then you can use this product. If you have any sort of responsibility where you have to remember things or you anticipate, activities or tasks to execute in the future, or you need to monitor and manage, then you can use this product and it will eliminate a lot of that manual, redundant mental load management tasks.
So how long, where is it in its journey now? Is it still in beta? Is it public? Is it launched?
So we are actually launching tomorrow.
Oh.
Yep, July 16th. We are launching tomorrow with a very small cohort of beta users. Our goal is that in next 3 months we are going to expand that, and we are going to test all the features that we are deploying every week, every other week, and get the user feedback, iterate it, and pivot depending on the feedback we receive. So yeah, we are launching tomorrow to our small cohort.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
congratulations.
yes.
And so who is it really targeted to? I mean, you mentioned a lot of people. Who is the ideal user, and what kind of technological know-how or levels do they need to have? What kind of equipment? What kind of app? Is it, like an app that's available in the Apple Store, or,
Sure. So based on our, market research surveys that we have done, and our general research we have done through different Reddit groups and all that, we see that this pain point is across all family structures. However, dual income parents with young kids under the age of 18 feel this pain the most, because they are the most time stretched, customer base in all of our customer archetypes. So primarily, right now we are marketing it for dual income families, but as I said, we will scale it to all the other family structures in the next 3 months. Tomorrow's launch is focused on dual income families and romantic partners. And who can use it? Honestly, the system is very intuitively designed, so anybody who has basic knowledge of how to operate a mobile phone can use it. The app will be available on Android App Store and also Apple App Store, so you can just download it from there and start using it.
As I'm thinking through this, I can also see this being really important and useful for folks taking care of elderly parents as well, and elder care. I know that there's a lot of families, or a child or a sibling or a family member with special needs. When you're looking for respite, when you were trying to take a vacation, right? There's so much that you need to lay out and let people know of what needs to be done. So I could see that this could be a really great use for this as well. I'm curious, what does it take to develop an app like this? Like, how do you go from idea of like, oh my goodness, I need help in this area, to seeing it come to life like this?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of long nights and a lot of early mornings and a lot of real brainstorming on the idea. But for me, again, because I felt like I had experienced some of these pain points myself, along with what I observed in my surrounding, I was intimately familiar with a lot of the pain points. So then I, had a market research survey. That's where I started. I wanted to gather information from other parents from a larger community sense. And so we kicked that off. We gathered information that helped me prioritize the features I wanted to develop in this first MVP. And, I contracted with a really solid consultancy agency to bring my vision to wireframes, to development, validation, testing, and now launching. Yeah.
Was there any point, I mean, you mentioned late nights, early mornings. Is there any point where you're like, this isn't going to work, or what caused you to keep pushing through for this? Where did that belief come from?
I would not say that any point I have felt like this is not going to work. I don't think that doubt comes in my mind at all. But I will say that, so along with while I'm developing this app and navigating, working with my offshore team in India, I also did Black River Innovation Actuator program from January to March. And then I recently graduated from Launch VT Accelerator from March to June. So it's almost like having the full-time job and doing a part-time semester, like studying. And then don't forget, I have a 5-year-old at home, so I'm still doing a lot of the mommy duty and working around her schedule. So the doubt, it's never that I don't have the doubt this is not going to work, but I definitely have had thoughts of like, in order for me, my vision of lightening mental load for busy families, I have increased my own load quite a bit. But also that's driven from the passion I have, because I know how much this type of a product is needed right now, especially when there is so much global uncertainty. And I strongly believe everything starts from a family and ends with a family, right? And when there are so much global uncertainties, a lot of that trickle downs to family. And in every family, there is this one person who creates that force field around the family bubble, absorbs a lot of that uncertainty and creates that stability for their family, right? And you need a system like this that helps them create that stability for their family.
And supports them at the same time.
Absolutely, right? So they all as a family unit can thrive and live the life that they're meant to live, with harmony, connection, joy, and have the mental space and time, right? Rather than frantically managing the logistics, which then results into resentment, anger, frustration,
Fighting,
mental
nagging,
fatigue, all that, right?
The loop, yeah.
So that's that
going.
passion definitely keeps me going.
Yeah.
Because I see how much much it's necessary.
We often talk about, filling your own cup and putting your own oxygen mask on first, but then you go home and it's a whole other job, environment, intensity, and chaos and work and load. So that makes so much sense. I'm curious, obviously you've done a lot of testing with this yourself, with your family. How has it changed your relationship, I'm curious, with your husband, and distributed the load for you at home?
Yeah, so I am married to a first responder whose work schedule is not predictable. So my personal pain point was that we don't have continuity in our schedule. And in that, I had a full-time job, and how do I manage the logistics, and how do I remember what days he's working and what nights and what shift,
because it's not like Monday, Wednesday.
Correct. So that was my personal pain point. And then when he's around, he's extremely supportive, and he wants to support me in everything that I do. And he would be like, Connie, tell me how I can help you. But I would be so mentally fatigued and sleep deprived in early stage of my daughter. She was super colic the first 18 months. And I didn't have the patience or the capacity to knowledge transfer. So, well-meaning, well-heart, supportive husband, the lack of, again, system and lack of visibility into what is retained in my brain that I cannot articulate well to him, that he cannot easily see. He cannot support what he cannot see.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And because we were passing through the life with the schedule changes, we didn't have a lot of those touch points purely for the logistics reasons, which was creating friction in our own relationship. But having said that, now he has a very stable schedule right now. So how has it evolved? I think a lot of understanding and empathy of, once I started understanding my lack of vocabulary about this mental invisible load and articulating what it is that I am dealing with in a way that resonates with him. We both found a way where we can, manage this load without me always being the only one who retains all this information.
Yeah. That really resonates, and I think, you mentioned something I think that's really important and that a lot of people gloss over or miss entirely, is that when you're both in your separate worlds working, doing your things, and you come together, the last thing you want to talk about is
logistics.
Logistics, yes.
Yes.
And so, you don't want to like unload on your partner or rant or, the resentment builds.
Yes.
You want to actually have time together. And, I can see this also easing a lot of couples need to go, let's say, to marriage counseling or something, because, and marriage counselors, I don't think, talk about logistics, right? It's all about how do you communicate,
yes.
and your feelings. Not to diss on marriage counselors,
yes.
I think they're super important.
Yes.
But I think this could be really transformational for a lot of families.
Yes.
And help them achieve more of what they want to do as well.
Yeah. I mean, again, and this is one person's point of view, but I really think that in order for family unit to thrive together, you have emotional aspects of what does it take for us to support our family, and that means supporting each other. What does it take physically for us to support our family, and that's when you have young kids, you're carrying them around, doing everything to nurture and help them grow healthily. And then, so you have emotional aspect, physical aspect, but you have this tactical aspect of you need to cook, you need to clean, you need to buy groceries, you need to buy essentials, right? And that tactical, logistical aspect of family's well-being, that oftentimes is not really discussed in those therapy sessions, but they're essential to your survival as a couple and as a family.
I don't think they're discussed anywhere.
No.
I don't remember, there's no manual to parenthood. There are books, right, that you can look at on how to raise children and all these things. And I remember when I had my kids, my first child, I was reading these, right, but there was nothing about logistics and doing this and doing that. So you don't even know what you don't know when you enter into parenthood, and suddenly you're supposed to be like this CEO of your family.
Yeah. And I also really think that, and it's almost when I have done a lot of couples interviews at this point for this product. And
how many?
Almost 150. And I have almost 300 physical surveys people have completed. So what I have noticed as a pattern is that couples feel like, I have only limited time to connect with you. We both have a busy career, and, we are riding our horses, and here we have 15 minutes to connect with each other. Logistics is the last thing I want to talk about. But at the same time, it's almost like you need a third space, a third tool, something that helps you both stay on the same page or align. And Alina, it's my vision of that third space, that assistant that you need that helps you both stay on point, so that you can connect on things that are priorities for you both as partners or as family members. So that was the whole goal of our mission and vision behind Alina, is how do I create a space that becomes this central point of visibility, single source of truth that family can operate out of. So I don't have to keep coming to you asking for information. You don't have to come to me. You can check, you can make your notes, you can log, you can talk to it. So it has a voice agent. So you can also give it instructions and talk. You don't always have to type to it.
Sounds like it's really robust and it's going to change people's lives. How can people find out more about the app or where to find it, and when the full launch is going to be? Where do you have a website that they can go to?
So yes, it's usealinaapp.com is the name of the website. We have Instagram presence. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, and I have a newsletter they can sign up for. They'll receive more information.
Great. So
via
we'll
that.
add all that information into this episode. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us about this. I think this is going to be, like I said, a game changer for so many, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you had the idea because
Yeah.
it's so cool. I've never heard of anything like this or seen anything like this. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And so go to the website, usealignapp.com.
Yep.
And we will put those links in the episode show notes for you. And join us again next month for another episode of SHEnanigans.